This is the Harley-Davidson Street Bob 114, and what a week I've had. I took back yesterday the Harley-Davidson Breakout 117 and I went to Harley-Davidson's secret distribution centre in England, which is guarded by American military and werewolves, and I swapped it for this and rode this back a 3-hour ride. And I'm going to tell you some interesting things in this video about this motorcycle. This bike starts at 16,695 in the UK in this colour black with the nice orange tank with the number 1 on it there. It comes in yellow and red as well, and for those you have to add £440. It comes as standard with these lovely wheels, but you can, as an option, get it with the spoked or laced wheels as well. Harley-Davidsons are superb quality motorcycles. They are top notch in every way. The paintwork, the welds, the metals, the materials, everything about them is first class. And for things that are that good in life, whether it's a camera, a watch or anything, you pay a little bit more for it. And that's the same with this. You're not getting electronic aids and loads of modes and all that stuff, and some people might say, well, it hasn't got this, hasn't got that. That's what makes it better. It's a beautiful mechanical motorcycle, as good as it can get. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I took the Breakout 117 back, and you must watch that review. It's a superb motorcycle. And I jumped onto this, and this feels really different. The engine's a similar engine and the chassis is the same, and the dimensions are a little bit different between the two bikes, but this immediately felt a lot more nimble. And on the way back there was some bends that I was going around, and I did feel very confident with this bike to sort of give it a little bit more on the bends. And if you really want to be a hooligan, you can take this by the scruff of the neck and ride it really hard, and it's very rewarding. The clutch and the brakes are fairly stiff. They've got a good feel on them. The gear change is really positive into every gear, and it feels very mechanical, and that's nice because it gives it a lot of character. You're in charge of this amazing machine and you're doing everything. A lot of bikes these days with their quick shifters and all that business, you might as well be on an automatic. You're just doing that and just doing that with your foot. This is brilliant. This is how motorcycling should be. And like lots of modern classics, this is not defined as a modern classic, but if you think about it, it is. It's a beautiful motorcycle with a proper tank and a proper frame, with an engine in the middle and 2 wheels and suspension, and it's down to that, and that's what makes it so good. Now that nimbleness comes because the tyres are very narrow on this, and that aids to the cornering and the direction changes, even though you've got a 30-degree rake and what have you, which gives you amazing stability. So this has got the best of both worlds. The riding position is completely different from the Breakout, where your feet and fists forward, your knees are bent on this and your hands are higher. So like anything, if you've never ridden one before, it takes half an hour or so to get used to it. But once you have got used to it, it's a great riding position, and at 6'2", I had no problem whatsoever. I'll show you. Perfectly nice. I love the styling on this bike. It's very minimalistic, and that minimalistic design goes through this little instrument cluster hidden in the handlebar clamp thingy there. But it's easy to see, and often I can't see them with short vision, and I can see what gear I'm in, and I can see the speed and the RPM very easily. The controls are so simple. You've got the on button here, hazards and the starter and the indicators on one side. Other side is the other indicator, lights, horn, and a little button to change through the different displays on the dash there. So simple, but all over the bike is beautiful and simple and artistic and beautifully designed. The seat's really comfortable. As I said, I had a 3-hour ride and comfort wasn't an issue at one point ever. It was brilliant. I like this little pad on the back, which you can easily unbolt if you want to, but that just also gives you a little bit more to lean against, and obviously if you pick up a girl on the way home, if you get lucky, she can jump on the back, and there's some pegs there. Going from the breakout, which has the 117 cubic inch engine, to this, the 114 cubic inch engine, the 117 is a little bit more powerful, and it's a little bit more of a peaky torque curve, I would imagine. I haven't seen the graph, but just by going by feel, this feels smoother. You've got masses and masses of torque from low RPM, from less than 2,000, all the way through to the peak torque at 3,250, and then it slightly tails off. But in that whole range, it's a very flat torque curve, so it pulls all the time, whereas the 117, as I said, it kind of rises and you get a sudden burst. And with this, it's very smooth, lovely engine. It really is immensely torquey, and torque is what these bikes are all about. And you could be burbling along, enjoying the road and the scenery, and then you come across Mavis in her little car, and you can just open the throttle without changing down and blast past with no effort whatsoever. And that's the lovely thing about torque. You also have the Softail Standard, which is basically the same bike, which comes in black and chrome. That's the only colour, at $15,995 in the UK. It's a little bit cheaper, and that's got the 107 cubic inch engine. Hasn't got the seat pad on the back. There might be one or two subtle differences, but so that's another option if you prefer the sort of chrome look. The bike weighs 297 kilograms, but to be honest with you, it feels a lot lighter than that. So it's very well balanced. And as I said, with the narrow wheels and what have you, and the sort of nimble handling it has, it doesn't feel nearly as heavy as it is on paper. The suspension is a tiny bit harsh, not in a bad way, but it gives you a lot of feedback when the road surface is rough. That could be down to limited suspension travel. It's not a motocross bike, and pumped up tyres, but perhaps the laced wheels, the spoked wheels, give you a little bit more flex, which is why they use them on motocross and enduro bikes. So with these solid alloy wheels, that could be the reason. This Street Bob is seriously cool. It's absolutely drop dead gorgeous. Everyone turns their heads when you go past or park somewhere. It's so minimalistic. It's so beautifully designed by an artist, not by a computer program. It's amazing to ride. It'll sit on the motorway at 70 miles per hour effortlessly all day long. If you feel like riding it a bit harder, it'll reward you massively. Or if you just want to burble along in the city or the country lanes, it's perfect for that too. It's a really good all-rounder of a motorcycle, and there's nothing like it. There's nothing as cool as this, apart from another Harley-Davidson. It's brilliant, love it. Now, a good tip if you buy one of these is make sure, if you're in the UK without enormous number plates, you get one that's got a black backing, because from this angle, you look at it and you see this horrible white thing on the back there. So make sure you check that before you order your bike. I've ridden a lot of motorcycles lately that I've absolutely loved, and a couple that I've hated. But getting on the breakout and then swapping it for this Street Bob, these are on another level. These are right at the pinnacle of amazingness. There's nothing like a Harley-Davidson. You have to go and experience one to understand what I'm saying. They're the coolest bikes on the planet, and they're flipping fantastic.